That's a really good point.
Yep.
That's a really good point, right? Like in the sense that, as we all know, again, this has been a bit of a difficult year for our industry, right? We've had, sadly, um, the trust that was placed into several large institutions has failed, right? Institutions of our industry, not even like the other institutions, because they've also had a lot of issues, but um, it's been a rough ride, right? And it's good that even in these tough times, when a good, let's say, momentum is built under a company and an organization that has values, that people can still see that and get behind that, right? At DEGA, we are professional to the core in everything that we do. So it's, as Ravi was saying, an honor to have some people, start their crypto journey with us, right? We're really honored by that, and it'll be a fun ride.
Yeah, they definitely came to the right place. I mean, if you're going to get started with anybody, getting started with us is you're in for a real fun ride.
Yep.
It certainly will. And for those new people, like I'm already seeing comments on how smooth the experience has been. Like some people had problems and we're solving those, but for 99.999%, it's been a smooth ride. And all I was thinking is, and they haven't seen it full power yet. So when you see it full power, it's amazing. But I'm not gonna get into that. We gotta do every day. We got new people. I see new names in the space. Some of them might know what an ISPO is. Some of them might not. So I don't know if you want to talk a little bit about the ISPO, what it is, what is it good for, and a little bit about the Dega token, and we can move forward with it.
Yeah, it's always a good point to set the basis. I think the only day we haven't done this is was yesterday, because we had Dor here and really needed to make a good use of his time. And by the way, right, for everybody that missed it yesterday, so we had a conversation with the former head of the Catalyst Fund for the Cardano ecosystem. When Dor was leading that fund, it was over $1 billion worth of assets there that were being used to bootstrap companies. So I recommend you go and listen to yesterday's space. We kind of started off very calmly, in a very organic way, but then something, I think, around 40% of the time in, we just got into the really exciting and, really, let's say, um, cornerstones of what ecosystem building is in this industry, of his experience and of how Dega is approaching it, right?
So
So yeah,
Carlos, is this? Are we gonna potentially see more or hear more from Dora?
he's already in contact with you, man. I think you guys are
I
already,
know. That's why I'm saying that. I
you
think we're
guys,
gonna. I think we're gonna be seeing a bit more of Dora. I think he's pretty excited about Dega, and I'm lucky because he actually lives very close by me. So we're gonna start up some conversations for sure.
yeah, yeah, I might need to get myself over there as well. So for everybody that missed it yesterday, go and see the recording. I promise you, it'll be worth it. It was a very exciting conversation around ecosystem development. Again, it starts off a little bit organic, a little bit slow, but then we really get into the essence of it, right? Of why we are doing what we're doing, right? It all comes down to purpose and vision in that sense. So go check that out. Yeah, so going back to Freak's question, which is, always setting up a basis here of what an ISPO is, just for everybody that's new. I know some of you have heard me say this about 10 times already, but bear with us just for the new members of our community, right? So an ISPO it's a new concept of using blockchains to be able to support your projects with minimal risk to the people that wish to support them, right? In blockchains, generally speaking, you have the concept of a validator or a full node, which is what makes new blocks, right? It's the actual software that makes the new blocks on every blockchain. In Bitcoin, you use proof of work to secure the network. In other systems like Cardano and Ethereum, you use proof of stake, right? So with proof of stake, you basically have to lock tokens so that your node has like voting power, right, over the network. So there's the tokens that I can lock in. Let's say I place a node, right? And then there's the tokens that somebody else can delegate to me, right? Because they might be in a situation in which they cannot set up a full node by themselves, right? So they delegate it to me. So they give me their voting power, and in exchange we split the rewards, right? The blockchain rewards that you get, right? So in Cardano you get ADA, and then you usually split that, right? And that's how blockchains proof of stake work. Now, what an ISPO does is takes this tooling and we say, well, we're going to set the fee to 100, right? We, the host of the node or the validator, so we keep all the ADA rewards. But in exchange for your support of the project, we give you DEGA tokens, right? And many projects, each project will give you their respective token rewards. So it's a great way to allow people to participate in DEGA without them needing to um, risk any of their ADA, right? In essence, their ADA is just being delegated, and nobody can take it away from them. So it's a very secure way for people to work together around the world. You could have a Cardano node in Taiwan, and I can be from Brazil, and I can delegate to you, and I'm protected by the blockchain consensus, right? Nobody can take my delegation away from me, but at the same time, I can participate in new projects that I want to support. So that's the essence of what an ISPO is. Now, the DEGA token per se, what it's useful for is it's a utility token that's going to be used across multiple layer twos in multiple blockchain ecosystems, right? So we've already announced that we're working on bringing a layer two for gaming on top of the Cardano ecosystem. And in partnership with Cornucopias Games, we wouldn't be able to do this without them. And we're already in conversations with other parties who want a layer two on top of Ethereum. And we're in conversation with many other companies that already have their own layer two or layer one, and they want the data building blocks on top of those systems, right? Like, what are these building blocks? They're white label NFT marketplaces, white label minters, modules for NFT gaming like dynamic NFTs, DeFi NFTs, and other systems. So it's a whole bunch of set of tools that we provide that allow games to focus on their game instead of focusing on blockchain. We handle the blockchain complexity, right? Just like how you go to AWS and AWS handles, the Linux distribution, the network configuration, the upgrades, right? They handle everything. You focus on your business, right? You don't focus on the engineering. They're doing the engineering for you. So that's kind of like the same thing that Dega brings to the table for games. We handle the blockchain, the decentralization, the gas, with everything, right? Everything that blockchain that is a point of friction, we take care of that. You focus on your game while still taking advantage of the great things that Web3 has, which is the user owns their assets. You can have an open system, right? An open API that anybody can use. You have the capability to do trading 24/7 of in-game assets and in-game currencies, et cetera, right? Like I could list forever the good things about blockchain. So that's essentially what the data token is for, right? It is used to pay fees on these systems, or it's used to accrue value from the fees paid in the system, right? To give you an example, right? Let's say I sell a NFT to Rabbit, right? And we sell it for, $100, let's say. So let's say that our fee is 2%, right? So two of those $100, $2 are going to go to a pool, which is going to be used to buy and burn data, right? So that creates deflationary pressure on the token and allows the value to be distributed across everybody that has that utility token. And this is something that Ethereum does in the Ethereum network, right? All the fees when you pay a transaction fee, the base fee is burned, right, which creates deflationary pressure. So that's kind of like how it'll go for data, right? So basically, that's how it is. That's kind of like the short version, right? In terms of what DEGA is for. It's used to pay fees across multiple layer twos and multiple software systems. And it's also used to accrue the value of all the fees paid in those systems, even if it's in another currency.
I love the model of the ISVO. For me, it was something new. So I learned it here, and I think it's brilliant. Cardano going that way for me has been a journey with Cardano, and I'm loving Cardano deeply. But I think also going multi-chain is brilliant and is the future of blockchain. Certainly is. And taking this ISPO technology to others, to creators, to be able to also do and create, it's amazing. But one of the most fun things, it's with this ISPO is the bonus dynamic, Carlos. I love all the bonus structure, like the going to supernova or piggybacking on copy meld or Wi-Fi, and the pre-mint NFT, the pass that it will become the your hero, your avatar, and the others will become your kaijus. I know it's not the topic of today, going into the NFTs, but the bonus. I would love to talk for you to talk a little bit about the bonus and how you guys structured this because it feels like part of a game. Also getting the bonus, and when you see the community, the dynamic, it's kind of like a game. So I would love for you to explain a little bit before we jump into other thing.
Yeah, so the way that we're doing it is we wanted to make sure that we supported and provided real value to the partners that are supporting us, right? So Meld, Cornucopias, BiFi have been great, great technological integration partner, as well as a great partner in the sense of helping us introduce data to their communities, right? So the way it works is like if you hold Meld, if you hold, and it can be because Meld is in the middle of a migration. So if you hold the old token, the new token, whatever, it's fine. We just want to know that you're a part of that community. You're getting a 5% partner bonus, right? And the same thing applies for Kopi and for BiFi. And this happens in a flat way, right? Just to be clear, it's not that if you hold Kopi plus Mel, you'll get twice the bonus. No, you get a flat bonus because the point is to make sure that everybody is rewarded, right? So if you just have Mel, that's fine. If you just have Kopi, that's fine. If you just have BiFi, that's also fine. You're getting the bonus, right? And it's a very low barrier to entry. It's something like I don't know how the price is right now, but at the time that we made that calculation, it was something like the equivalent of like $50 of those tokens, right? So we just want to make sure that everybody could participate because we know you're also doing staking of those tokens, like on their respective platforms, right? I think that BiFi just released a new staking product and Meld as well has staking on certain platforms as well as Scopy. So we were like, well, we can't ask them to remove all of their already existing rewards that they're getting in their platforms, right? So, just a small amount just to prove or demonstrate that you are indeed a member of that community, right? So yeah, that's how the partner bonus worked. And there's the NFT hero bonus, which is basically right now we just gave out the pre-mint pass, which is essentially just a registration or a voucher that you're getting in Telegram saying that you have that NFT, right? And when you have that NFT, it's a 5% boost on your data as ISPO rewards. And you can mint as many passes as you want. The first one that you reveal for your address will be tied to an avatar. The second one that you reveal will be a kaiju, right? We've only shown the concept art of the avatar. The kaijus, we're gonna reveal that later on. It's a surprise. And then, but it works in a flat way, right? So if you just bought one, that's fine. You have the bonus, right? If you buy more, that's also fine. That way you'll be able to have a better uh, chance of getting a high yield DEGA NFT. And what does this mean? It means that in the future, when we have the DEGA blockchain running, which is um, layer zero protocol, right? When we have that up and running, the yield that you'll get from those nodes will depend on the rarity that your NFT has. So basically, the more NFTs you buy, the higher probability you get to have one of those super rare, high yield bonuses. So that's essentially how those two work. And then the other bonus that we have is a time-based bonus, right? So the more that you stake in our ISPO, the more you'll get rewards as time goes by, right? So the first few epochs, you're getting the partner bonus, the NFT bonus. I think it's 9 epochs that you have to stake with us, and then you start getting another percentage on top of those, right? And then after a certain period of time, and this is all in the blog, right? I just don't have it in the top of my head, but this is all in the blog post. So every X amount of period that you pass with us by doing staking, you'll be getting an even bigger bonus, right? The last one, I think it was like 30% or 25%. Like it's a lot. So those of you that stay with us the longest will be able to, reap the highest rewards, and your NFT will also be evolved with a higher level of loyalty, right? Because we start off with the Spark level, right? And we end up with a supernova. So if you've been delegating the entire ISPO, your NFT, your first NFT avatar will become a supernova. So yeah, looking forward to, having to engaging our community with all of these fun things that we structured for them.
I'm so going for that supernova level. I'm aiming towards that, and I have one question before we go into that. So my copy, because I did it with copy my NFT boost, so I can also stake that copy into the copy staking pool, or do I have to have it hold it in my wallet? Sorry, that's a personal question that I
No,
put in.
it's fine. No, it's a question that I'm sure a lot of people here have. Yeah, you need to have the minimum amount that we set up. You need to have it in your wallet, right? So, but again, it's like $50, right? So if you have, $2,000 worth of copy, you just need $50 to get the bonus, and then the rest you can keep in your normal staking.
Ah, perfecto. Thank you, Carlos. A lot of people like, these things this is not, technology is not built automatically by robots yet. And coming into these projects, when you're attracting talent, when you're attracting community, at the end it's like, we're here because of you, we're here because of your vision, we're here because of your experience and the way you do things, and the way you communicate and everything you represent, and also your dreams and what you want to achieve. So is because we know you're the right person to achieve this vision. So, but some people don't know much about you. This is not going to be a personal interview, but you come from a long Cardano experience. You've been in this ecosystem, you're really well known, you advise really big projects, you run already big projects in Cardano. So you're a big guy in Cardano now. But can you tell us a little bit about how you got into blockchain, Web3, the Cardano ecosystem, and ended up in DEGA? I know some people want to know about you, more about you on that end.
Yeah, it's no problem. Yeah, I rarely like to talk about myself in that sense. Not because I'm shy, because I'm not, but I like to focus on the vision. But yeah, happy to do so. So, like most people in this industry that have been here for a while, most of us got started with Bitcoin, right? So it's always the first thing that a lot of people will say, right? So it's not different for me. I think the first time I read about it, it was at the end of 2013 or 2014. But it's just like I just read an article about it. I was like, okay, this is interesting. Yeah, this has potential. I can see the power it has. I was looking at it more as an engineer, right? Because back then, the only thing I would do every day was coding. Now I have to do product design and a whole bunch of other stuff. But back then, I was just an engineer, and that's how I looked at it. And I was impressed, technologically speaking, but I didn't understand how powerful it could be in terms of. Actually, I understood the power, the potential. I didn't understand the speed of how it could grow, right? So I just saw it. It was in forums reading about Austrian economics, which is kind of like my favorite branch of economics. And then after that, I started, just doing a little bit of a deeper dive every 6 months or something like that, right? But I never lost track of it. I saw that there were some new blockchains coming out and so forth. Then, as we all know, Ethereum came out with their smart contracts and, blew up in 2017 with the ICO craze. That's when I thought, like, what happened in 2017 is what I thought would be happening now in 2022. Like, I thought that, that boom from 2017 would be happening right now in 2022. So I was like, way off in my predictions, right? We've already been through two bull cycles, right? It was 2017, then the 2021 bull cycle, and now we don't know when the next one's coming, but it's way faster than what I thought. So back then in 2017, I was like, you know, I already had a software development studio. It's a small studio of like 5 people, and I was like, nope, we need to start focusing on blockchain. And then I decided to stop doing all other types of software development and just do blockchain 100%. We got our first client that same year, 2018. We started working on a layer two, a layer one actually. Back then there was no concept of layer twos. So we started working on our first layer one protocol, and we built cross blockchain DEX back in the day. Now that isn't so weird, but in 2018, doing a cross chain DEX, that was like brutally complicated, right? There was way less information, way less tooling, way less frameworks, but we got it done. We also worked on a side chain. It was actually the first EVM side chain, and we deployed that actually before Polygon launched their side chain. But I did that for, this is all client work, right? This is work that I would do for companies that would come to hire me for development. And then we did a whole bunch of stuff like arbitrage bots for cross exchange markets and a whole bunch of other stuff. And then just kept building for many years. And then when I think it was 2020, yeah, 2020, at the end of 2020, I was still doing projects with my team, my personal team. And then I got like an offer, hey, there's an opportunity to be the technical product manager in the sidechains program in IHK. And I was like, I do love the work that I'm doing with my team, but I felt like it would have been a great experience to learn, to be a part of a bigger company, right? A bigger organization, one of the largest ecosystems in the entire industry. Um, and I was like, well, I'm going to take that dive, right? Like, in the sense that I didn't need like to have a job in that sense. I already had my team, but it was a great learning experience, right? And indeed, I was correct, right? I really did learn a lot. Worked with probably what well, I might be biased, but I believe that my team there was the best team, right? The sidechain team. So I worked with them. We did a lot of work on the EVM side of things because that was my experience, right? So I was working on the EVM sidechain there, and that's where I met Thor. With him, I was actually supporting him with the Jormungandr side of things, right? Which is where the Catalyst system runs the voting parts. Um, and actually, in case anybody's curious, you can still find a talk with me and almost all the key players of the Cardano Sidechains program that we did for the 2021 Cardano Summit. So if you just Google site Cardano Summit Sidechains Carlos, you'll find that video, right? You'll find it with me and a few other key players. There's actually the Nico from Nucometa was in that conversation as well. So we had a great, I had the opportunity to just connect with a lot of the very intelligent people there. And about a year ago, I've just felt it was the time to start working on DEGA because I've had so many ideas that were like compounding, right? And a lot of the things that we don't realize is that it's not one technology that makes a difference, right? It's when you have a convergence of multiple technologies, then you can create a great product that makes the difference, right? An example of that is the iPhone, right? Like the iPhone didn't particularly invent any new technology. It's not that they discovered a new way to do the internet or a new way to compress data or a new way to make mobile smartphones. Like everything that they did was already existed, but they converged it into something that is a single cohesive experience, right? That pushed the entire industry forward, and then many industries on top of that, right? So that's how I felt around this time last year. I felt that there were certain technologies that were ready, that were primed for being integrated and building a new cohesive experience. Um, and that's when I felt I had to just create DEGA, right? And I kept working with my team. The DEGA team is the same team that has been building with me for like 5.5 years, plus new members, right? Such as yourself, Freak, and Rabbit. Um, but even with you guys, we've already been working like I think close to a year. So yeah, so basically it was time to bring DEGA into existence, and that's kind of like how it all happened, right? Might just add that when I decided to create DEGA, one of the first persons that I pitched it to was Ken, from the CEO and founder of Meld. So when I pitched it to Ken, he just like went crazy for like a few days. He was just like he was texting me nonstop, like, dude, you gotta get on this, you gotta start building this. So I said, it's like, I mean, this is like my first conversation, and he's so excited that, I think that I'm on to something, right? So I took the decision, right? It was a hard decision to leave IHK. For me, I particularly loved my team there, and I felt that, that we were doing something great for the ecosystem, but I just had to make Dega, right? It was part of a, let's say, um, a bigger, more personal vision, right? Because I'm completely focused on bringing this to everybody in emerging markets. So yeah, so that's how I started working with Ken. He advises me on business, product, and other aspects, and I advise him in technology, right? So that's kind of like how we connected there. I also had the pleasure of meeting the Cornucopias team in the consensus event of last year, right? And we connected really well with them. I there I only met Josh and Rob, and yeah, we connected really well. We started talking, right? We didn't dive just like on the first day, in the sense of, yeah, we're on board. Like, no, we had several conversations over the course, I think, of like 3 months, right? And then we took the plunge, right? And we started working together as partners as well for maybe 8 months now, maybe a little bit more. And we had the pleasure of spending some time together in this year's consensus as well. And yeah, that's basically how I've been connecting with all of these great parties. Now, we've recently connected with BiFi. We definitely want to integrate their cross-chain liquidity product into our layer two for Cardano, and maybe probably some of the other systems we're deploying. So yeah, it's been a great year, a great experience, and that's kind of like the whole story, right? In terms of the industry, my work in IOHK, and then our work with all of our current partners so far. And there's still, again, many, many more exciting things to be announced shortly that I just can't say yet, just because they haven't been finalized. Let's say.
What a ride, bro. What a ride. But that's now I understand why the tech team, it feels like a tiki taka from the Barcelona. It's kind of like you can see that game being played in my experience in the tech world. Finding teams like are efficient, fast, top quality level is really hard. And when I saw your team working, delivering, and the quality of the delivery and the commitment, everything, it was like, wow, this is those one of a kind teams.
Yeah, yeah. We've been working together for a long time. They're great, and also they are. resilient because I'm very demanding with the deliveries, right? For me, there's no space for failure in the sense that everything has to be top quality. So even if something's really, really good, if it's not borderline perfect and excellence, I'm very, demanding of that. So yeah, they're definitely not quitters. They're people that like to work hard. They also look at themselves as professionals that must deliver the excellence that is expected of them, and they're willing to work hard for that, right? They work longer hours, weekends, everything that they need to do to get it done. We also have, fun times, relaxing times, times in which we're only researching and learning. So it's kind of like a mix and match of both things. But what I want to get across is that these guys, they're not gonna, feel the pressure and break. They're gonna feel the pressure and perform, right? That's what marks the difference in greatness in any team. So yeah, big shout out to everybody in our DEGA team. Everybody in our team is like that. You are like that as well. Rabbit is like that. I'm like that. So um, we're gonna keep delivering.
Yeah, and I love that because that creates trust with our community, the people involved, the people staking. That you see it when you talk about. You always every day that we have this space, you say like, "I'm not gonna talk about that." When you talk about something, is because you know it's already working. It's already, the delivery is gonna be how you want it, and I love that. It's really cool when you talk about something that's already being tested, beta tested. So everything that comes out, you have certainty that it will be delivered. And that, for me, that's deep trust in the project.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're gonna move to some of our audience questions. There's a delay in our conversation, so what we say here takes some time to get to the actual Twitter space. So let's give them some time to ask questions. But what can you tell us before like people start posting questions? And if they don't have questions, is because we've been communicated really clear, and the community has been answering most of them. But I do have some questions while people get questions. and
Go for
and
it.
yeah, and you know where my questions go. You spoke about the NFTs and the yield. And for me, it's all these concepts. Some of these concepts are new. So could you talk about what do you mean with that? The hero, the yield, and I can rent it, like all those things that you just said.
Well, specifically, the yield is based on an attribute that the NFTs will have, which is called strength, right? And the higher the strength that you have, it'll be a multiplier on the yield in the DEGA validators, right? And what are the DEGA validators? They're the system that I don't want to get into all the nitty gritty low level details, but essentially they're the system that's controlling the metadata that allows all of these multiple layer tools to work as a single system, right? Because that's the thing about DEGA, right? Like you won't, if you can if you want to, like if you want to go and see the details, you can, but if you don't want to care about how it works, all that you care is that it does work, then we'll make that for happen for you, right? Just like, for example, right now you open your Gmail, right? Like nobody here in this call is thinking, is that Gmail server, hosted in Mexico, or is it hosted in the USA? Is it using Linux SUSE, or is it using, you know, um, any other type of Ubuntu or any other distribution, right? Nobody here is thinking, are we, did we make the transition to IPv6, right, for networking? How do I go and create a SSL certificate for encryption in a command line? Nobody's thinking about this. And every single thing that I just mentioned happens like in nanoseconds when you go to Gmail, right? And many other stuff. There's a whole bunch of universe of protocols happening when you just tap something on your phone that goes and pulls things from the internet. And you could not care less about those things. And that's exactly how I want to provide, the Web3 infrastructure that we're building. I don't want you to think about, oh, I'm working on top of an EVM, I'm working on top of a WebAssembly, I'm working on top of a Plutus programming language, I'm working on top of a EUTXO or an account-based system. Or no, I don't want you to care about that. I want you to just open your app, get the game that you want, get the NFT that you want, get the tokens that you want, right? You don't need to care about those things. So to make that happen, that's why we're building DEGA, right? And that's why we're deploying components on existing layer ones and existing layer twos. We're deploying new layer twos. We'll have even some systems that will run on the equivalent of a layer three, right? Some other teams are calling that, hyper nets or super nets or whatever. The point is that all of this massive complexity underneath is going to require coordination, and that's what the data validators are going to be doing. So that's why you're going to be decentralized. It has to be proof of stake as well. So Bodega is adding the component of every validator has to have an NFT to do both accrue reputation, right? So that your NFT evolves respectively, based on how your validator has been performing. And the yield that that validator will give you will also have a multiplier based on the strength of your NFT, right? So as anybody can notice, our NFTs are an open mint. They have a really low price, right? A really low barrier to entry. The reason for that is because it's basically like everything we do is around gamification, right? It's about taking you through a journey and a path that you showcase to the world how you've grown in that sense. So that's why that NFT is a really low barrier to entry, because we want everybody to be able to start their path in data and not just have it be based on money, right? Which is important, right? Money is relevant. It is, as Indor mentioned this yesterday, right? Like it is a way to bring value to an ecosystem, but that's not the only thing you need, right? We don't just need capital, right? We need your support to be able to grow the ecosystem. So that's why the NFTs start off like, you could say, like a beginner level or like a baby level, and then you'll have to grow into the maximum capabilities or the maximum manifestation that your NFT can provide in the DEGA ecosystem. So one of those things again is the strength attribute. That one is random, right? That one is something that we will add use things that you can use to boost it, but generally speaking, there'll be a multiplier that'll come out randomly, and based on that, you'll get a higher yield when you're running a DEGA validate. Rabbit, is
Wow.
there some? I would like to also give a shot there to Rabbit, right, to contribute. Maybe I missed something or something you'd like to add there, Rabbit.
I think that's all we can talk about right now. I mean, these attributes, it's like if you can think of anything that you can do in a blockchain ecosystem, there's probably going to be an attribute associated with your NFT to go with that. And balancing those out across ecosystem design, those are popping up every day with us. And it's like, that's why we're very hesitant to talk about them, because it's like strength makes sense to go first because that's the thing that's going to be supporting the network. So it's like, but there's other things too, like the other attribute that is loyalty. It's like, you're going to get a discount. There's all kinds of different attributes that Carlos and I are coming up with pretty much daily to to give you a path within the Dega ecosystem to strengthen your NFT. Because what you want to think about is your NFT, that is your avatar, that is you. So in the traditional, if you want to even call it traditional NFT space, we get a lot of questions about, well, how many are going to be minted? What's the rarity on these? What's the floor price? We're like, that's not how it works in our ecosystem. Your avatar is you. What's your floor price? How many of you are we going to mint? What path are you going to take in our ecosystem? So it's a much different story that we're telling. We're using the NFT in a much different way here.
Yeah, I'd say it's closer to an RPG, right? In the
Yeah,
sense that
exactly.
like the top players in the RPG aren't the guys that just had to bought the biggest avatar there, right? They didn't just go in there. There are some games that are structured like that, to be fair, yes, because they're more about money than anything else. But the real fun games, right? The real engaging games are not just structured around money, right? Obviously, they do charge for things, but it's also about the missions that you go into, right? The quests that you do, the villains that you beat, and how you grow your guild, all of the things. Yeah, you got to do a whole bunch of things to be the top dog in the best games, right? So yeah, basically, that's exactly how it is for DEGA, right? The more you work with your tribes, the more that you produce content, the more that you participate in different ways in the ecosystem, that'll evolve your NFT to the highest degree, right? And you can either, bask in your glory, so to speak, or it's yours, right? So if you do want to sell it, you can sell it later on.
Wow. And I guess,
Yeah.
does it inherit the supernova?
One last thing, on what Carlos was saying there, adding to that, it's like, if you think about it, it's like there are people who do spend their time like leveling World of Warcraft characters to the absolute highest ability, and then they go and they turn around and they sell it. They sell that character, and it's like, that character is is somebody put work into that to grow the value around that character. So if you think about, what your DEGA NFT could be, it's that same thing. It's like you put the time in, you participate in the network, you do any of the path of a quest that you want, and that NFT almost customizable to a certain value set, and that's going to be valuable to somebody.
So it's
Sorry,
not.
Tracy.
So it's not only about the chance of getting like a hero with a huge strength. It's also I can build up my hero character to get better stats and better attributes. That's amazing. It's not only random. It's not money. It's also about. I love that concept. And the question is, like, right now I'm aiming to become supernova, so I guess my NFT is also going to be supernova.
Yeah, that's right. That's an attribute that, let's say, it's determines the bonus for getting the ISPO, and when you mint your NFT, it'll have that, right? It'll be minted as a supernova. That's why we had to do the pre-mint. I think we didn't explain this. Now a few of the questions make sense. That's why we had to do the pre-mint, right? Because your mint needs to have the ISPO done so that you can have this attribute, so we can say yes, you are a supernova, or or you're only a spark or whatever, right? So that's why we did the pre-mint versus the direct mint right now.
Ah, smart. I don't want to be a spark. I want to be a supernova. It's like I'm going for that supernova level. So yeah. And one question before that, there's people requesting to talk, but I invite you to write your questions in the comments of the Twitter for the sake of time, because we have just a few minutes left and
Yeah,
some other announcements.
I only have 4 minutes left. So if
I
there's
know.
something for me, let me know.
No, I think right now what you just said, it explains a lot of things, and doing the premium is smart. And you want to go for the supernova, you want to go for the supernova bonus, you want to go for the supernova NFT and participating. My question was more regarding future protocols coming into the ISPO, but I guess this is not the place, and we don't have the time for it. So my Carlos, I guess, is just like finishing up with you, and then I'll announce the wood challenge winners and what we have on for tomorrow's, Clash of Tribes and the Dega Batalla bot. So if you invite everyone to the ISPO and have some time for you to get onto your next thing. So
Yeah, no, I mean, it's always right. We're just getting started. This is the end of the first week. We're looking forward to growing a lot more in the coming months. We're going to be announcing more partners from the Cardano ecosystem, and we're going to be deploying the ISPOs and other ecosystems as well, namely Polkadot, Polygon, and Ethereum. And we'll also be announcing the key partners that are going to support us in those ecosystems as well, which is just like we have top quality partnerships in Cardano in terms of technology integrations and communities. We will have that same level of support on the others as well. So stay tuned on that aspect. Invite everybody that you know right now to take part in the ISPO. This is the best way that you can support DEGA right now to push forward. And yeah, stay tuned and join us tomorrow for that DEGA Batalla, but it'll be fun.
Amazing. Thank you, Carlos, for your time, for your explanation, for everything, for sharing the journey. I think hearing about that was important, and everything you said is pretty clear. So have a great day, my friend. End of the week. Wish you the best in the remaining time. I know you will work Saturday and Sunday also. So, but have a great weekend, bro. Thank you for that.
Thank you, bro. Yeah. See you. Bye bye.
Okay, thank you. Rabbit, do you stay with me or you also have to go?
Oh, I'm going to stay with you, freak. Of course, I'm going to stay with you.
Okay, I'm gonna, because right now what I'll do is announce the winner of yesterday's challenge. So remember, every day we're releasing a tweet, and that tweet, if you follow DEGA, you like retweet and tag 3 friends, you get the chance to participate for 1,000 DEGA token. Yeah, you heard me right. It's 1,000 DEGA tokens every day until I don't know when. So yesterday we had this tweet gone out. People did their homework, follow DEGA, like, retweet, tag 3 friends. So there's one for today also. You can check it in Twitter. It came out at my 6 a.m. So, and I think I'm Central Time right now. So do your math. But it came out this morning for me, and you have a chance to win those 1,000 DEGA tokens. And I got a winner for yesterday. Did the complete homework. Remember, if you don't do the whole thing, like, retweet, mention 3 friends, and you're following DEGA, you might lose because you won't get picked. You need to do those 4 things, actually. 4 things. So the winner of yesterday of 1,000 DEGA token is my dear friend Brass. So Brass, congratulations. Announcement is already out in the Discord. It will be announced in Twitter soon. But there's a new tweet to support. So go ahead and do what you have to do and compete for those 1,000 DEGA tokens that we have out there. And congratulations to Brass. Amazing. You've been a great player in our DEGA tribe. You've been helping people. You already know and understand the project. You've seen Brass, Rabbit, haven't you?
Yeah. Oh yeah, of course.
He's amazing helping people. He's like clear and spot on.
He's freaking amazing. He is like, I wake up and I just see walls of brass. Just like answering all of the questions. I'm like, oh boy, thanks, man. So thank you.
Every morning, I love that. Every morning when I go into the Discord, you hit the brass wall of comments. I love that. Yep. So congratulations to Brass. And remember, tomorrow we have the Clash of Tribes competing for a total bag of, I'm going to say it exactly. And I know it's going to sound a lot because it is. And this is our celebration of launching the ISPO. It's 500,000 DEGA tokens in total for the Clash of Tribes. Yes. So we have 2 elimination events, like one tomorrow and then in a month from now, and then we will have the finals. So how does it work? You need to belong to a tribe in order to participate. So only tribe members can participate in this because there's a maximum allowed of 2 members per tribe to participate. So once the subscription goes out this afternoon, we will arrange the brackets for people to be facing each other. It will be 1v1 battles, only winners remain till one winner is left. So tomorrow will be the first elimination event. It will have rewards for first, second, and third position, but only the winner will move on to the final. So the tribes have to find those 2 representatives to compete. And for every elimination round, there's a bag of 150,000 DEGA tokens, split it among the first three positions. And then the 2 winners will move on to the final and will compete for a bag of 200,000 DEGA tokens. So elimination is 150,000 each. So it's 300,000. And then the final is 200,000. That adds up to $500,000 in total. So if you won the first event, you cannot compete in the next one because you're already in the final. So another member of the tribe could come in and you will have one member remaining to compete. So I invite everyone that wants to participate either to join a tribe in our Discord or create a tribe in order to participate. You remember, you can create a tribe. You can aim to have more than 10 members because how does the Batalla bot, the DEGA Batalla bot works? So tomorrow, all the participants and the tribe leaders will go, everything will be streamed, by the way, but we'll go into a private call in Discord where we will announce the brackets. So when we announce the brackets, we'll start doing 4 battles at a time. So how does the battle work? The one in the top bracket challenge the one in the lower bracket in Telegram. Telegram, the DEGA Batalla bot, the DBB bot has a command to challenge other people in Telegram to a fight. So what you do is you challenge with DEGA with /DEGA match at username. There's an explanation already that is being published, but I'll do more videos and more explainers tomorrow. And once you challenge, the other person has to accept the challenge. So what the bot does, then it generates 2 different Twitters. Every tweet to support each player. So you'll have one for you and one for the challenger. Now you got to rally your tribe to power you up because you have health and you have attack power. So health is, surviving points. Each time you take a hit, you lose a point. But the attack power is how many points you take out from your enemy or your challenger or whoever you're fighting with. You take those points away from their health. So if you have +1, +2, +3, +4, you need less hits in order to win the fight. So how do you get those power-ups in health and in attack points? With likes and retweets in that same order. So if you want to have a +1, you need 10 likes for health, 10 retweets for attack points. And it scales up. It's at 10, at 100, at 1,000, 10,000, 100,000. So you need to rally your whole tribe to get those boosts, to become stronger and have more chances of winning. So the battle after it goes on Twitter goes back to Telegram, and you start seeing round by round who's hitting who. This is probability and the algorithm and the AI running the battle. So it's pretty fair because there's no way to interfere with the results. And I usually, for example, I usually beat the rabbit. It's like he challenged me, boom, Freaky kills the rabbit. So still waiting for the moment, but it's totally balanced. Like the rabbit knows there's no chance I can play besides getting my likes and retweets in place to power it up. And you start seeing round by round, and you're cheering, and your tribe is there rooting for you, and you see blood, and you see like heads cracking, or read heads cracking, and then you have a winner. And that the winner survives, the other one in this tournament, in the Clash of Tribes tournament, we assume is dead. So it's out of the tournament. So tomorrow this will happen at 2 p.m. UTC, and I will share how you can how do you say, choose the two players that are going to represent each tribe. So best of lucks to everyone. I don't know, Rabbit, I'm really excited for what will go on tomorrow. Like, you've seen it, you've lived it, we've done it, we've fought, and it's fun.
Oh no, they for a text-based battle system, things get really heated. It is fun. We used to do these tournaments quite a bit in the past, and we're bringing it back. And now that we've got like so many tribes and so many people who participate, I'm just hoping for like walls of memes of people like calling each other out, because that's like the most fun for me, is just watching how people communicate with each other during the battles.
Oh yeah, and I can see like I can see like some tribes already have like, their own gifts and their own memes that represent their tribe, like the pirates, the mafia, the knights, the calatrava, the Latinos. They all have like these gifts that represent them. I can see that, battle going on a gift war tomorrow, when people are facing each other. And I cannot wait to see what will happen in Twitter. So it will be a really exciting exercise. It will be really fun to see you all there. And of course, I'll be yelling behind the microphone, announcing the battles like if it was like the last UFC battle of the century. I don't know.
You guys, you all haven't seen Freak in his glory. He's the consummate announcer. It's like he'll do the play-by-play for you for sure, and it gets funny.
I do, dude. I live those battles. It's like I feel them. Like 7 punches, calf on the whatever midsection, and he's yelling on the floor. It is really cool. I live them. So we'll have fun, everyone. So come tomorrow. If you're not participating, join us in our stream. Comment, make fun of it. It's also about that, about bonding and creating these special moments in our tribes and sharing it with the world. So thank you, everyone. For those who want to know about the ISPO, I remind you, there's a tweet, there's a YouTube video made by Freiler that I really loved. I think Freiler is here. Yeah, you can go to his account and watch the video. It's one of the best explainer videos I've seen. I was trying to do one, but when I saw his, it was like, I just share Freiler's, and he made my life a lot easier. So thank you, Freiler, for that. I recommend to go into that. Mid, I know you wanted to talk. I know you wanted to say something. Sorry, our time ran out. But if you want to hit me up in Twitter or Discord, let's talk. And we're here for that. Rabbit, thank you, my friend. You want to say bye, bro?
Yeah, my phone locked up again. So, yep, I'll see everybody out there in the channels. Always reach out to me. I am friendly. So
can I play your song before you go? Can I play your song? So
you're gonna do it anyways, so just go ahead and do it.
Okay, there you go. This was the Rabbit representing the DEGA crew, the DEGA universe. Rabbit in the house. We got the king.
I'm the rabbit king, home receiver, the carrier of the truth. My rhymes are the deepest. I put her in the gabbers, live always it resides.
I love that. And we got seven in the house. You can beat this song for sure. You know, it's like, okay,
All right,
Rabbit, thank
everybody.
you.
And with all that, have a great day. I'll see you out there.
Take care, bro. And I also say bye to everyone. It's been great sharing with you. And I also have a song for me checking out. I got the girls. I got the guys. Thank you. Have an amazing Friday, all of you. This was the DEGA Space. Let's go freaky this weekend tomorrow in the Clash of Tribes, guys. Let's have fun. Love you all. Take care.